It's now day 41 of the Stop the Diabetic Insanity journey. And I've had some major breakthroughs in my mind about how I'm going to go on this healing journey. And I've been watching a lot of videos on Gaia, and I think there was a reason that I subscribed. And, I've been looking at a lot of videos about, quantum healing and the healing field. And what that basically is it's basically this concept of, I guess you would call it unification or reunification. So whatever broken bits that, whatever brokenness that you've experienced in your life, the process of healing comes through making peace with that broken part and letting go of toxic shame and unforgiveness. And I have to admit, I've been struggling a lot with this in the last year particularly. Without going into too many details, I've experienced major hurt in my life. Stemming from my childhood with feeling betrayed from my mum and, feeling abandoned and hurt from not being taken care of as a child. And what happens when you grow up, you become older, is that when you've had that sort of background, you seek resolution from other people who are just as broken as you. And the ironic thing is that the broken bits never come together that way. You're just playing it out. You're just playing out the trauma. And with someone like me who's got empathic qualities, that's a huge magnet to draw in narcissistic personalities, or narcissistic energy, and parasitic energies. And for many years I was the biggest people pleaser. I just wanted people to like me, and that was a big part of the problem. It was like, without self-love you just can't heal, and you're looking to other people to heal you by telling you that they love you, that they care about you, that they're looking after your best interests. But the evidence always just shows up as something else, which is abandonment, which is cruelty, which is unkindness, betrayal, all the things that actually broke you in the first place. And for a very, very long time too, I used to scoff at this concept of making peace with the broken parts, making peace with the person I'm angry with, making peace with the hurt, angry, unforgiving feelings. And no doubt anger's important. You need to acknowledge the anger and admit that you're angry. And I think this is also important in the metaphysical world. Like, this manifests itself as disease in the body as well. And I read Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life, quite a few years ago. And she said that, in metaphysics, the pancreas is associated with self-love. So if you don't love yourself, you're going to experience a disconnection with your pancreas. And therefore, it's no surprise I've got diabetes, because I've got a disconnection with that part of my body. And and I'm suffering from that disease because I don't love that part of myself, and I don't love myself, and I'm seeking that validation outside of myself. I'm seeking that resolution outside of myself. So what I've realized, to cut the long story short, and hopefully stop some of this isolation that I've been feeling lately because of my energy field, is just making peace with the broken parts. Whoever's made me angry, just let it go. Whoever I think is not calling me back, let it go. Just let it all go. No more expectations, no more getting angry because people didn't behave the way I wanted them to behave. Because what ends up happening, because it's an energy-based universe, attraction-based universe, is that whatever you believe in keeps coming back to you as physical evidence. So if you start letting go of the things that aren't serving you anymore, or you don't want in your experience anymore, and you change your belief system, it has to stop showing up in your experience as physical evidence. So my incessant neediness for approval, particularly from not the best people, I've let go of that. And I'm okay to give it back to myself. And because of that, I hope to God no narcissists come into my life. But based on the law of attraction, no narcissist will ever come back into my life because of my new belief system that I can give it back to myself. Now, I can also apply this principle to food. Like, what would happen that would actually make me overweight, and this is my true belief, is that I would put myself through an immense amount of toxic shame and pain when it came to food. So I've got a lot of negative associations with food stemming back from my childhood. And, so every time I would eat, or I'd eat something that wasn't good for me, I'd go through that toxic shame process. And this led to a sort of separation. So because there's this separation, that experience has to keep coming back into my life. And I remember watching a few weeks ago this video by Leo from actualize.org. And it's a very popular series of videos. And Leo actually talks about awareness and mindfulness. And what he says is that basically to break a habit, do what you need to do. Like if you have that urge to, eat a huge greasy meal, do it, but just have an immense amount of awareness. And that will break the toxic habit for you because suddenly you're aware of what you're doing to yourself instead of just blindly doing it to yourself. And a few times during the journey, I've actually been aware of some toxic behaviors that I've been doing to myself. The difference now is that I do it with awareness instead of shame. And because of that, I'm feeling a lot less negative impact on my body. It's really odd, but yeah, it's not like it used to be. Like if I, for example, ordered a whole pizza and ate it all in one go, I would feel bloated and sick the next morning, as well as that, horrible voice in my head telling me that I was fat, I was ugly, how could I do this to myself, start all over again. You have to start all over again, and, and you're never going to change. You're never going to enact any positive change into your life. And the trick is like, when you're at one with the thing that you're doing, at the very least, you don't have those toxic emotions, but it doesn't have that negative effect on your body and your mind that you had. Now, I'm not promoting you scoff a whole pizza down, but your urge to actually do those things actually lessens a lot as well, because you're not shaming yourself and you're not blaming yourself. And so you're learning to let go of those painful habits. And this is all part of the healing journey. This is what they call quantum healing. So it's taking all the broken bits that were unresolved and being gentle with them, going, it's okay. You're a part of me and I'm a part of you, And it's the same with, the people that you don't like. They're just evidence of your broken parts, They're just evidence of parts of you, and you can go in your mind. You don't have to do it with the people. You can if you want, but you just don't, enact that amount of judgment on them. You don't, put out that amount of negative energy towards those external things because they're a part of you too. And you just need to say to those things, it's okay. You know what? Thank you for showing me the lesson. I learnt the lesson and I forgive and I let go. And once you do that, those things can't come back into your life as physical evidence for your unresolved wounded bits. Now, when I was going through the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Program by Melanie Tonya Evans a few months ago, the program just didn't work for me because I just didn't get it on a cellular level, on a mental level. But all of a sudden, after some really negative experiences this week energetically, I suddenly get it. I suddenly get that you just got to forgive. You just got to forgive that brokenness within you and stop this split within yourself. You just got to take back those broken parts and integrate them back into yourself and heal them and be gentle with them until they're all a part of you. And when it's all a part of you, those things won't come back in your life. Those horrible, painful, toxic people or experiences that abuse you, that hurt you, won't come back. How could they? Because you've learnt the lesson, and I've learnt the lesson. And I think what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to do everything I can to make my experience as light as possible, as loving and healing as possible, and to let go of my expectations about being right, let go of my expectations of other people, that I need to be part of their life or I need to be part of their experience. I don't. They don't really need to be a part of mine. And so there's freedom there too. Doesn't mean there's not hurt or loneliness or any other negative emotion. They're still there. It's still there. But the difference now is that I've learned to let go and I've learned to heal. Finally, after all this time, So, yeah, that experience I had, for the last few months, even for the last 3 years, I've learned to let it go. I've learned to be so less angry about it. And thank God, it's such a relief that I can free myself from that finally. So I just want to wish everyone well. This might be my last video before I go away for Christmas at the end of the year. Might not be. We'll just have to wait and see. I really want to see how successful I am at losing weight in the next few weeks. I'm at a bit of a plateau at the moment, and I think it's because of this emotional struggle that I'm going through. I'm hoping because of this breakthrough that I will break through this weight plateau and come through on the other side, losing at least a couple more kilograms by the end of December. So I'll keep you posted anyway. In the meantime, take care, have a great Christmas, and I'll talk to you soon.